everybody, to another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start this show by being transparent. And yesterday, I did not have a good day. I went 1-3. Two losers on the Blazers because we split it up the ski line way. And winner, I also went along with Rob. I know Rob had a best bet winner, but the Bulls came over was the winner, and Kings team total under was a loser. So 1-3 for me yesterday. Got to do better. How was yesterday for you, Rob?
Boy, yesterday was a nice ski. 3-0 sweep. We had the Bulls and Heat over. Like you say, we'll just keep riding that train. Had the Oklahoma City Sacramento game over, 244.5. That got there. And had the Nuggets minus the 9.5 and took care of the Nets. There was a little second half separation, like maybe we thought there would be Nets third and fourth night. So look to propel off of that. It was a nice night for me.
Love hearing that you killed it with a 3-0 night yesterday. Really quick before I get to some more of these comments here, the chat overall cutting it close. It was 12-11, but still more winners than losers. Some of the winners there, Lit Picks and Justin, they both were on Jokic rebounds over 12.5. Those are nice winners. Net, Avery, and Mario C all like the Kings, and that one was a winner. Manny liked the Kings game over. That was a winner. Adam Richmond with the Heat team total over. That was a winner. And Dr. Shilly there was 3 best bets from Dr. Shilly. And in the future, we're going to go with 2 or less, please. But Dr. Shilly had 2 winners there out of the 3. Cleveland plus 9.5, Denver minus 9.5. So some good stuff in there. And Dante also had the Chicago-Miami over as his best bet. So some good stuff in the chat. We'll try to roll that over here to today. And we don't have to wait long for the first winner here, Rob. Bryce Miller says, there's never been a more light blue golf shirt than today.
Man, Bryce is colorblind. It might come through as blue on his screen, but this is not blue.
No, this was the guess before the show.
Oh, okay.
He guessed this. It looks blue to me too. You have to tell me what color it is.
Yeah. It's very easy. I had to find some shade of green for money today. This is light green. The official color for anybody who nails mint green is right on the money, but mint green, of course, printing money. So Friday before bowl season begins, I was looking for a shade of green, and this is what we came up with here. If it comes across as blue over the screen, it's man, everything is peach. Yeah. Every day, Boofer. Every day. Start my day off with those. Man. Yeah, so this is definitely light green. We would accept any form of light green. Mint green, and you got yourself a real winner.
All right, we'll keep our eye out. Shout out to Thomas for becoming a member. Appreciate you 100%. Boofer says over 3.5 drink water breaks today. I probably might cash on a day like today when I'm feeling like this. Saturated, I feel like this is every day now, but I feel like he keeps cashing. So I'm not mad if you want to look at Embiid here again. A couple more comments. What's up, Justin? He just pulled up. Let's see. Oh, I can now see. I think this is new. I'm seeing people joining through Twitter. So shout out to everybody watching directly on Twitter. I don't think I've ever seen that in the comment section before. So I like that new addition. Shout out to you guys watching on Twitter. Let's take a couple more looks at some comments here. Shout out to Justin. Cash 2 best bets in a row. Appreciate you sharing. Bryce Miller is not buying it, Rob.
Bryce is trying to win a prize. Somebody, I think Boofer's in here saying, I'm going to ship Veno a 4K webcam. So they don't trust that I'm telling them it's light green ski. I take you up on that, Boofer.
Oh, man. Hey, I can see the Twitter comments. Not only can I see them join, I can see them commenting. So Barry Clue on Twitter says, lead green sounds lit.
Lead green. I never heard of that one. Sounds military.
I like this new addition, and I saw something too where you can start streaming on Instagram Live. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get Instagram comments in here too. I didn't do it today, but maybe next week we'll start to do that. But we have 8 games for today, Rob.
Mhm.
Let's get to them. Let's see if we can find some ways to make some money here. We'll go in rotation order like we always do, and that means first up is 533, 534. LA Lakers versus the San Antonio Spurs. Opened up Lakers -7. They're now 7.5 point favorite. Total open 232.5, and 234 is the consensus here. Injury report. Nobody on there for the Spurs. Let me refresh this. And nobody for the Spurs. Prince, LeBron, AD, Vanderbilt, all game time decision here. Vincent continues to be out. So they just played the other day, and Lakers were able to squeak out the win. They were up by like what 18, but that fourth quarter, Spurs got it down to 3. Tried to complete a comeback, but didn't get it all the way. They didn't have LeBron in that game. I think LeBron should be back in action here tonight. And if they were up by 18 leading into the fourth, why can't they be doing that again here today with with LeBron back on the court? So I lean towards the Lakers. I know Spurs play higher scoring games at home, but I'll likely, stay off of the total. So just a lean for the Lakers for me. How do you feel about this one, Vino?
Well, the difference in the game, Ski, and I had the Lakers the other night. I thought I had a win. I wound up with a push, late 3. The difference, obviously, is the other night it was 3, and tonight it's 7.5. But you're right. The Lakers were cruising in that game, and it's not like the Spurs started their rally to begin the fourth quarter. That the Lakers were still up plenty with about 4.5 minutes left, double digits easily with 4.5 left, and then they allowed San Antonio to cut into that and end up at 3, which led Greg Popovich in his post-game conference to I don't know, Ski. I don't believe a word the guy's saying, but he's trying to tell us how improved San Antonio is, and how, if they could just get shots to fall, and I feel so bad for them because they can't get shots to fall all the time. I don't know. I don't know that they've gotten any better. It's going to take time, certainly, but defensively, they're still not very good. Like you mentioned, no LeBron the other night, and they allowed 122. And that's with the Lakers actually taking their foot off the gas for the last 4.5 minutes, like I say. So I find it hard to be on San Antonio. Coach Pop's comments could be motivationally directed, like to let his team hear him, believe that they're coming on, and maybe they're so young, it'll instill some confidence in them. My worry here is how much the Lakers care about winning by margin in this game. I would like to side with them, but like I say, the point spread's more than twice as much as it was the other day. Maybe the Spurs have enough to get under the number, but boy, they're subject to blowouts as well. Last couple games for the Spurs have been close, lose by 2. Lose by 2 to, the Lakers have been close, lose by 2 to Dallas and win by 3 at San Antonio. So that would lead you to believe maybe points are worth taking here. I don't like any way in this game, possibly the total. But when the Lakers have their wing defenders in there, and I know you mentioned this quite a bit, they're a pretty good defensive team, and 234 might be a shade high. So I have no opinion on this game.
Lakers are a good defensive team. Spurs, last 5 games say Spurs are top 5 in the defensive rating. Not how I view them as a team in general, but if both teams play like that, it can stay under this time around. But probably not a game I am going to play. Let's keep moving. Next game up, we'll go over to this one is pretty interesting to me here. 535, 536, Indiana Pacers heading into Washington. And I messed up on the banners here today, I guess, because I just messed up. It should be Pacers at Wizards with the Wizards plus 8.5. I will fix that. So open -8 for Indy, and looking at -8.5, -9. Total open 255, and we're looking at as high as 261.5. So open 255, and people say, nope, still not high enough. We're pushing it even higher to the 260s. So this is now I mean, we keep saying this, but this is now the highest total that we've seen in the NBA ever. And injury report for the Pacers: Nimhard is out, Smith out for the Wizards, Poole's game time decision, Davis, Rollins, Shamit, DeLon Wright, all out. I have an opinion on this game, Rob. But before I do, and while I fix the banner, I would like to hear how you feel. Is this total finally too high?
Well, I don't know that it is just because of what we've seen out of the Wizards lately. 8 of their last 11 games, they've allowed the opponent to score 130 or more. Indiana can get to 130 or more, and the Wizards seem to be giving it up like water. So let's just say the Pacers get to 142 or whatever. Then you need to get the rest out of Washington, which they're fully capable of on most nights. A, because they're trailing, the other team really doesn't fare them, and B, because at times they can shoot it pretty well. I'm more interested in the number here. I would rather lay 9 points with the Pacers. I think that off of the game the other night, it's interesting to see, too, that Oscar Tshiebwe is questionable tonight after taking Giannis's ball for his first 2 points the other night. But he's back to the G League maybe for this evening. But I think Indiana will take out a little bit of frustration on this team. Washington has shown the last 3 games that it's kind of early, Ski, to say that a team has just folded shop 23 games in. But their last 3 games, they lost by 27, 45, and 20. It's just not even close. They're not even within range. And this number is under double digits. You can get 8.5s, by the way, out there if you shop well enough. So I think the Pacers should have a little bit of motivation off of the loss to the Bucks the other night. It's an opponent that certainly they can cover this game simply by outscoring. They don't have to bring a ton of defense to the table, which they never do anyway. So I'm going to say I like Indiana. It's a game I'm very close to getting to the window with, but haven't yet. But the more I think about it, the more I like Indiana to win by, again, the last 3 teams have beaten Washington. Last 3 opponents have beaten them by 20 or more. I think that happens here again. Indiana minus the points would be the way I'd look.
I can't argue other than, I mean, the Wizards have just been that bad. Usually I'd say it's hard for me to expect a team, to win by double digits when I don't think they'll play a whole lot of defense. So I won't be playing the side. But what I will say and how I feel about this game, and you also have Indy on the front end of it back to back. They play Minnesota tomorrow. But how I feel about this one, Rob, is a couple of things. For one, let me ask you before I get into it. Were you on the tip-off show with me on when it was the last game between the Bucks and the Pacers?
Yes, and you
And I'm
told
like,
us all
absolutely no.
258.5. Yes, you were the only voice of reason.
Well,
now, to your point, Ski, real quick, I thought that game was going to stay under after 3 quarters, but they scored like 72 in the fourth, which is not uncommon nowadays. I mean, we used to root for 50-something point fourth quarters to get us over totals. Now, if you're way down, it doesn't matter because they will get 70. But I do remember, and you did call for the over.
Well, now I'm feeling a little bit different here in this one. And it's a couple different reasons why. Just looking at, Indiana as a road dog, when they're not expected to win the game. And so as a road dog, they have gone over every game except for one, I believe. And those games were averaging like 269 points, 266 points. It was something like that. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. But if you look at Indiana in general, how much their games average so far this season, it's more like a 253-ish type number. If you look at Indiana when they're a road favorite, it gets even lower. It's like 246. So at some point, you're just getting a little bit too high here for this Indiana team. Now they're on the front end of a back-to-back. If they are winning by this big margin, could take out Halliburton and save some of his energy, and that's going to kill a little bit of the pace and offense for this Pacers team. On the Washington side, full game time decision. If he's out, he doesn't play defense, and he's a better scorer than not. So I think that helps that under if he's out. I just feel like we're at the point where it's a little bit too high for this situation with both of these teams. Are they both great defensive teams? Absolutely not. Do they both play with pace? Yes, they do. But total, everything has to go right for a total like this. We saw even with that Milwaukee game, it barely got there. I think this one stays under.
They played one ski so far this year. It was way back at the end of October, 143 to 120 Indiana. Really, before we had a chance to establish a lot of these trends that these two teams are playing by, that barely made it over, right? 143, 120 is barely getting there. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I would not push back against the under here. The only thing I would say in Indiana's defense is if they do pull guys, with them, they have the second highest scoring bench in the league. So for them to go to the bench isn't that much of a downgrade as it is for other sides when they pull their starters. But 261 is just, I mean, that's, and I like to play over, but I can't play over 261 in an NBA unless it's the All-Star game.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit crazy now. So I haven't bet it yet, but because there's no rush, it just keeps going up and up and up. But I'm looking at this one only to bet the under. So we'll see how it shakes out tonight. And if I do get to the window, let's keep moving here. And Lynette, I'm feeling slightly better. I'm trending in the right direction. So hopefully by when we get back here on Monday, I'll be 100%. Next game up, we will go 537, 538. Detroit Pistons heading into Philadelphia to take on the Sixers. Opened up Sixers minus 16. Not much movement there. Total open 235. And we're looking at 234 and a half. Injury report. I don't see anybody for the Sixers. For the Pistons, Bagley out, Duran out, Morris out. Now, Bryce, I did see your comment earlier asking if there's any of those, if you know, you know. And we didn't have any of them for the unders, but there were a few for the overs. And this was one of them. I believe the last total was 232-ish or something like that. And so this one is a little bit higher now. Seems like they're expecting points here. Both teams are on the front end of a back-to-back. That does worry me. But the Sixers, that's just how they're playing right now. They've gone over an 8 straight, and it's hard for me to bet it to go otherwise. I think that there's not a whole lot of resistance for Joel Embiid on the court tonight. And Pistons having Bogdanovich back in the lineup helps them offensively. So lean towards the over here, Rob. Couldn't you get to the window with that?
I think you could. I didn't. It would be much harder to argue an under here because Philadelphia's back-to-back tomorrow is Charlotte. So really, who cares? It's not like they're looking ahead to Charlotte. It's interesting that Philadelphia's schedule has been so soft the last 5 games, Ski. I mean, this will be the 4th game, and then tomorrow will be the 5th in 6 games where they played either Detroit, Washington, or Charlotte. And you can't get any easier than that for Philadelphia. It'll be interesting to see what Nick Nurse does with the lineup or load management tomorrow night. But as for tonight, at home on a Friday night in front of the home fans, I'm sure everybody plays. I'm sure everybody gets their minutes. They played Detroit twice already, 129, 111, got them to 240. The other one was 114, 106. Philadelphia, by the way, scored 114 in that game and only shot 42% from the field, 26.5 from 3. So they didn't even shoot and got to 114. It could be a look toward their team total. It could be a look toward full game total. It could be a look to Philadelphia in general because, Detroit, for all the national news that they're making with a 21-game road losing streak, it doesn't look like anything's being solved. It doesn't look like anybody's dying to break this 21-game losing streak. Monty Williams shows frustration every night. The players go to the floor and do the same exact thing every night. I think having the bigs hurt, especially I know you've talked about Jalen Duren a couple of times here this season, and without Jalen Duren in a lot of these games, it's tough for them on the interior. So, like I say, I could see anybody playing the full game over or Philly team total over. If Philly has a lack of care for this game, possibly even Detroit over team total. But I wouldn't trust Detroit as much as I would trust Philly.
So we're pretty much in agreement here. We see this game the same way. We'll expect more points than not, probably more so from this Philly side. Good stuff there. Guys in the chat liking Bogdanovich over, Sixers team total over. Couldn't argue against any of those. and we'll keep it going here. Moving pretty quick today. We move quicker when I'm not 100%, huh? I don't talk as much.
Mm,
539, 540, New Orleans and Charlotte opened up. Pelicans minus 6.5. We're now looking at 8.5, even a 9 popping up. Total open 232.5. No movement there. Injury report: Zion game time decision. Larry Nance and Matt Ryan both out. PJ Washington, Mark Williams game time decision for Charlotte, but Mark Williams doubtful. They'll be without LaMelo Ball, Martin, and Frank Ntilikina. So I don't feel too strong about this. I would want to know that Zion's out if I'm laying this big number with the Pelicans. And if he was in, I mean, they've been playing good basketball lately. What have they now covered? I think 11 of their last 15 games. And I would like to get there with them if he's in. But when I look at them as a road favorite so far this season, they've only covered one game out of four. That kind of tempers my confidence a little bit. Charlotte though, 4-8 ATS their last 12, only 3-6-1 versus greater than 55% win teams. When I look at the last 5 game stats, they all favor this Pelican side. Just to lean towards the Pelicans here today. Anything you're liking in this matchup?
it's hard because if you like the Charlotte side, you have to put some trust into them. They showed playing it close against Miami in the first of those back-to-backs, but then they got beat by 11 in the second. And for New Orleans, I just want to point out this is a 3-game road trip with 3 absolute cupcakes. And the first game of this road trip without Zion, they went into Washington and won by 20. They scored 142 against that lousy defense without Zion. Brandon Ingram went crazy. Trey Murphy, I think, was 7 for 10 from 3 in that game. So they're fully capable. I think that if you're New Orleans and you sit in the standings where you do and you see this 3-game road trip, this is one that you kind of asterisk and say, let's go just murder all 3 of these teams and pick up some spots in the standings. And I think that's one mindset way that you could look at the Pelicans here tonight in this game. So for that reason, and of course that they're the far more talented team, even if Zion doesn't take the floor, I think I would look that direction. Again, Charlotte showed a little bit of what are they 2-1 last 3 against the spread, 3-3 of last 6. But again, if you're playing Charlotte, it's a shot in the dark that they're going to give you a good game. It's not a good defensive team. You talk about all the guards that they've been missing. Not so sure that I could get there, Ski. I kind of like the matchups in favor of New Orleans in this game. So for me, it would be New Orleans or nothing. Didn't play it because I just can't get to any real conviction on side or total.
I don't think I'll be on this one either. Um, Travis, like in the Pels in the first half, say the Hornets don't match up well, especially with all of the injuries. Jay Gill agreeing with the Pels first half look. Um, I'd only look towards the Pels, but makes me still a little bit nervous. Saturated says, "How many strikes for yawning on camera? I can't get a break over here, man."
They catch everything, Ski. They catch everything.
All right, next game up is 541, 542. Orlando Magic heading into Boston. Opened up Celtics minus 6, down to a 4-point favorite, 4.5 at some shops. Total open 222.5, up as high as 225.5. Injury report here. Jaylen Brown, game time decision. Porzingis, doubtful. Horford out. Cornette out. For the Magic, Markel Fultz is game time. They'll be without Harris and Wendell Carter Jr. So, I mean, it looks like, who's going to be protecting the rim there for the Celtics tonight? Porzingis doubtful. No Horford, no Cornette. I mean, where are the bigs? Where's the rim protection? So that's automatically making me think about an over here. That's the way the Magic have been playing lately. 8 of their last 11 games. Neither of these teams have been playing with extreme pace, but I can't help but think. On the second of a back-to-back and no rim protection, how much defense does Boston want to play tonight? Can you get there with the over in this game, Rob?
I could. I got there already, but I got there with the Orlando team total. which is now 110. It started off, I think, 108, 108 and a half, somewhere in that vicinity, but I got it at 110. If you just go back the last 11 games, Ski, and you talked a little bit about the Magic playing pretty good offense as of late, 9 of their last 11 games. So 9 out of the last 11, they've gone over this number of 110 against their opponent, which might surprise some because, I think people are still getting used to Orlando being a good team at this point. But I think they can get to over 110 here. Not only did Boston play last night, but 2 of the last 3 nights they played Cleveland. I know that those margins of victory are 7 and 9, but they were tougher games than you would think if you just look at a box score. You watched last night, and Boston was still to the bitter end. It took an Al Horford 3 with about 40 seconds left to finally put that thing away. And so they played pretty hard in 2 of those 3 and got 2 wins. And I just don't know. This is the first of back-to-backs. I find Orlando would probably be the more motivated team. It's a Friday night at home, which I usually like the Friday night home team. And Jason Tatum made comment of how they have tried really hard this year to be better at home because the home fans deserve better than what they've given them at home the last couple of years. But still, this game, I'm going to lean on some of the things that you said. Don't know how much defense Boston's going to play. Don't know how much rim protection there's going to be. Orlando's ability to score over 110 the last 2-3 weeks. And the only reason why I didn't get to Orlando as the side is because I was too afraid to only take 4 points. So I'm going to go over 110 with Orlando. Like I say, it's already in my pocket, so that's what I'll recommend here.
Well, just putting 2 and 2 together, if you like Orlando over that team total and you're scared to take them plus the points, it means you think Boston's going to score a little bit as well. So that gives me some confidence towards the full game over. And the chat, they're pretty much in agreement with your team total over or liking the Magic in this spot. I'm going to write on my short list here because I didn't have it this morning for Orlando and Boston. We are looking at the over.
I like what you did with Logic School there, putting 2 and 2 together.
That's how I do it, man. 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah, that's right. That was good stuff.
A couple comments before we move over. Manny likes Orlando first half full game. Travis also likes the over, and Sean likes Paolo over 20.5 points. Good stuff there. Let's keep going. Next game up. Well, before I even keep going there, just thinking about it, Jaylen Brown was out. No, he's game time. Okay. Just wanted to make sure my thought was correct. All right, we'll move over now. My bad, you guys. 543, 544. Atlanta Hawks, Toronto Raptors. Opened up Raptors -2.5. Now looking at -2 or -1.5. Total open 244.5 and dropped as low as 241. Koloko out for the Raptors. For the Hawks, Jalen Johnson continues to be out. AJ Griffin out. Hunter, game time decision. These teams did just play not too long ago. It's another one of those, if you know, you know, but the over kind of deal because they did raise this total a little bit higher. I think the last one opened 240.5 and this one opened 244.5, but it's since been moved down. Still, when I think of Hawks games, I still think to go one way or pass. They play up tempo and do not play any defense. I know the Raptors are a little bit different, but we just saw how that last matchup, ended up, what was it, like 270, 280 almost points scored in that game. Over 5 of the last 6 for the Hawks, over 4 of the last 5 for the Raptors. Both bottom 5, defending the 3 on the season. Could only look towards another over here. And I want nothing to do with the Hawks. Nothing. They haven't covered a game since Jalen Johnson has went down. Raptors, in the categories that I care about, they've been better in all of them the last 5 games. Offensive rating, defensive rating, and rebound percentage. So either the Raptors or the over. Do you agree?
I do. And I'll add to what you're saying here as far as points are concerned. And again, if you asked 100 people that even follow the NBA, what they think the style of the Raptors is, they would give you one answer. But this is the number 2 team in the NBA in fast break points. They're second in fast break points per game. Atlanta's fourth. So to add to the numbers that you gave of these teams both being bottom 5 defending the 3, they're great fast break point production teams. In the game they just played the other night, 75 threes were taken. 36 of those were made. That's almost 50% of the threes that were made in that game. And I don't know what changes here, to tell you the truth, Ski. Atlanta's never going to play a different way. Quinn Snyder was brought in there last year to change some things. Atlanta looks the same as they did before he took the job. So I'd have to say over in this case. If you're looking at Toronto real quick, just for a short-term trend perspective, they've been over. They're 235 points or more in 3 of their last 3 games. So, it's a team that's put up a lot of points recently. I don't think they're, your grandfather's Raptors, so to speak. They're not the same. They're a little bit differently built. And when they play this style of opponent, they tend to get caught up in the up and down. So I'll play it that way. I think over's the right way. And it's kind of crazy to say, but it's an Atlanta game, and Atlanta makes 241 look kind of small at times. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one gets over as well.
All right, we're in agreement here. And a couple comments trying to help. Terrell says, it's 200 people in here and less than 50 likes. Oh, come on, man. I wasn't even going to do a show today. I was like, I don't feel great. I might just not do it. But then I said, let me go ahead and do the show. They say, hey, look at this one here from Booper. Rob says, Veno, undo the top button for more.
Yeah. During suntan season, Boofer. Even though I'm Italian, so naturally a little bit darker color on the skin. But yeah, during suntan season, we'll start unbuttoning that for you. Guy's the best. Unbelievable.
VC3 says, y'all bugging, hit that like button. So appreciate y'all. If y'all could hit the like, as it does help out the show. What up, Ron? Appreciate you tuning in. JT, like in the first half, specifically on the over 123.5. Says Hawks on the road have gone over their last 5. And 9 of their last 10. Raptors 4 of their last 5 and 7 out of their last 10 at home. Good stuff. Jay Gill, appreciate you as well. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. And Terrell says, he said, I saw 2 comments. He says, bullying works now. It's 61 likes. And then a couple minutes later, now 81. Bullying works.
Help us out, Terrell.
Much appreciated. And Justin, another one coming in. How hard is it to hit the like button? Just a click. All right, let's move on over. Next game up, we have 545, 546. Houston and Memphis opened up. Houston -4. Now -3.5, pretty much everywhere. Total open 211.5. We're looking at 212 for the consensus. Injury report: Thompson and Tate, game time decision. Oladipo out. For the Grizzlies, Bane, game time decision. Looks like Clark, Kennard, John Morant, Marcus Smart, all out. So these teams did just play the other day. Same kind of deal as the others. And it went over. The bookmakers are opening this total a little bit higher this time around. And as much as I talked about the under for the last matchup, and that's how I generally would view these teams, I think I agree with the line, switching more towards the over here, the second go around. If I look at it, both teams have been playing a little bit faster pace-wise last 5 games. Offensive rating is bottom 5. It's not there. And the defense for Houston is number 1, so it doesn't show there. But what I'll say is, in that last game, I should probably look it up just to put specific numbers to it. But neither team shot well from 3. I want to say it was like somebody shot 30%, and the other team shot like 20-something% even. I'm gonna have it here right now. Here we go. So Memphis shot 26% from three, 10 out of 38, and the Rockets shot 38%. 43% on the field in general for Memphis, 45% for the Rockets. And this game ended up with 221, 10 points over the total of 211. So clearly, if Memphis could shoot 26% from three and get over 211, 211 was not high enough. So, granted, Memphis is the worst team shooting the three in the league. Houston's the best team defending it. But just me seeing that, me seeing Memphis go over 4 of their last 5 games, I think I would agree with the odds makers and this one being moved up for a reason. I would look more towards the over. Would you agree, Rob? Or you think change it up second go round and goes under?
I don't know if I would change it up, Ski, but I would add to what you're saying by saying Desmond Bain didn't play the other night and they got to where they got. And that's half the reason why the 3-point shooting was so lousy, because if there is a 3-point shooter on that team that you can count on consistently, it's him. So I think his injury status is important. It's so hard to pick a side in this game. Remember last night or yesterday when we did the show, it was the first time Portland was favored, right, against Utah, and Utah won. And today is going to be the first time Houston is a road favorite this season. And their numbers are really different between what they do at home and what they do on the road. On the road, it's a 1-8 basketball team straight up. So they don't even win games on the road. And now you got to lay points with them. And they lose them by 7 points per. However, Memphis doesn't win anything at home. Lost 10 of 11 at home, and they lose them by 9 a game. So it's really lesser of two evils here, which is what it was last night with a Utah team that was resting Markkanen because he couldn't play on back-to-backs. And, and it looked like maybe Portland had their shot and they couldn't come through. And maybe Houston has their shot here, but who knows if they're going to come through. So if you throw side in the garbage and you just look at the total, perhaps over is the way to play this thing, especially, we don't have any insight as of yet, and you would like to get to it before an announcement of Desmond Bain playing happened. But if he does take the court, you have to believe those 3-point shooting numbers from the other night go up, and you have to believe that the score probably goes up. So probably a one-way ticket here, Ski, with full game over, or else just sit back and watch.
All right, we're in agreement there, and it's a good point by you about the Houston Rockets on the road. Maybe that could be a reason to look towards the Grizzlies plus the points. We have one more game in the association tonight, and that is 547, 548. Take a look at the Knicks versus the Suns. And I almost said the other word that they say for the Knicks. It's a longer word, but when people start saying that word, sometimes they get in trouble and say words that they're not supposed to say on air. And RC, you know what I'm talking about, RC. This game opened up Suns minus 5.5, and they're now 4.5 or 5-point favorite. So down a half a point or a point. Total opened up 230.5 and up to 232.5. Injury report: Mitchell Robinson is out for this Knicks team. For the Suns, Grayson Allen is game time decision, but very likely to play. Eric Gordon, game time decision. Damian Lee and Okogie will be out. So we should be getting Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker all out there today. The Knicks are on the front end of a back-to-back. They play the Clippers tomorrow. And I feel a couple different ways about this. I guess I'll start with this. The Knicks, and I've said this before, but the Knicks, ever since that in-season tournament game that they lost, and then they got killed, they came out the next day talking about we got to trade for an all-star, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's been downhill ever since then. They all confidence. You could tell from what they said, and now from how they're playing, all confidence is gone. I just don't want to be back in a team like that. They covered 3 of their last 10 games, ATS. I know the Suns haven't been covering either, but I think the Suns, they're not in the same boat. The Suns do have that confidence. They're just now getting their guys all together and healthy. I think the Suns are trending up while the Knicks are trending down. And the Suns will go on a run. It's just a matter of if it is going to start here tonight. And I think it can. Last 5 games, they've been a better defensive team, a better rebounding team. They don't have a game tomorrow. So I think they have an advantage there as well. Only would look towards the Suns. As far as the total is concerned, I mean, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, KD, that's a hell of a lot of points. Suns are already 10-3 to the over so far at home. And the Knicks, I mean, I think it was since that in-season tournament game when then Thibodeau was talking about how bad their defense was, etc. Hasn't gotten any better. They're the second worst defensive rated team, and that's why they've gone over 6 in a row. And that's not who we view the Knicks to be. That's not their identity. So it's either the Suns or it's the over in this game. How do you feel about it, Rob?
It was my first bet today, Ski, and that was the over. I think it's getting over 232.5. And I love that you brought that up at the end because we talked about it here last week. It was right after they gave up that 146 to the Bucks, and Thibodeau went nuts. And I said right here, we're going to find out with the Knicks if they're listening to this guy or if they're tuning him out. And since that day, they gave up 133, 130, and 117 in Utah. They've tuned him out. They're not going to play any defense for this guy anymore. The makeup of this team, when they traded for Jalen Brunson, if we just go back to what they've done here personnel-wise, and when they got Jalen Brunson, they got rid of their good defensive guards and brought in offensive guards. And as great as Jalen Brunson is on the offensive end, it's hard on defense for him. They've got a lot of shortcomings on that side, on that end of the floor, so it takes effort. And you mentioned Mitchell Robinson probably not in here. I think Phoenix, and just to add to that real quick here, Knicks not playing any defense, Knicks playing an awful lot of offense, 115 or better in 6 of their last 7. If they get to 115 tonight against Phoenix, who's not an incredibly great defensive team, if they get to 115, all you're asking for the Suns is 118. That's not even a cover, and yet you go over the total. Phoenix, if they do cover, they get more than 118 probably. So I think the over is a really good look here. At some point in time, you're right, these Suns are going to go on a roll. We like to be forward thinking and get ahead of the train. When's it going to happen? The other night looked okay against Brooklyn. And I referenced you on the NBA tip-off show yesterday, Ski, because I know you're the guy. When we were on Wednesday, I remember this, that the Nets-Phoenix game was going to be the Mikal Bridges, why you want to trade me show. And that was exactly what it was that night. They beat that team straight up. He played really good. And then, of course, they went and fell apart last night in Denver. I think that this game gets over. Like I said, it was the first game I played. It's probably my best bet for the day. I think 232, which you can still get out there as I look right now. There are some places that are slower to move to 232.5. So that's my look. That's my take. I think that this game gets up and over. Bad New York defense, better Phoenix offense nowadays. And certainly I don't think that Phoenix is a team that's going to limit the Knicks scoring here tonight.
Well, that makes me feel even more confident about that one. We're on the same page on this game. And that's the NBA card. I didn't look at too many other sports. I haven't been doing too much on football, but hey, tell me, hey, look, here's story time with Ski really quick before we get out of here. But we talked yesterday about that Chargers game, right?
Yeah.
I told you how pathetic and just you can't trust the Chargers to do anything. I mean, I guess I didn't say that the Raiders would score 60 points, but Chargers are just pathetic. I said as many negative things as I could, or maybe I didn't say it, but I was thinking them, and I've been saying them over the past few weeks because that's why I don't even watch football anymore or watch my team anymore because they're absolutely garbage. And you see the coach gets fired today, the GM gets fired. So maybe I'll be back next season now. But any NFL that you wanted to shout out, Rob? Or
it's a different scheduling type thing now with the NFL because Saturday college football full schedules are gone. There's 6 bowl games tomorrow, but there's 3 NFL games tomorrow. And the NFL games are of growing importance. I think, I'm going to have a play on 2 of these 3-4 clients. I will quickly talk on the Denver-Detroit game, which is the night game, if anybody's interested in. Detroit opened 4.5, 47.5. They're 4.5 and 48 now. Detroit's been sliding recently. Denver is now, amazingly, somehow Denver can get into the playoffs now after the start. And we all remember the 70 points they gave up to the Dolphins. But that should be one of the most competitive games of the day. I kind of feel like that one, when it was at 47.5, 47.5 was worth betting over. 48 is a little bit tougher. So I don't know that I'll quite get there in that game. There's not a lot of movement in the number. I think that because of the meaning of this game for both sides, that it's attracting even money on each side. But I do think Denver plus 4.5 might be worth a look. I keep looking at what Sean Payton means as a head coach. And Ski, to your point about the Chargers, I never realized how close LA could have been, the Chargers I'm speaking of, could have been to signing Sean Payton as their head coach and firing Brandon Staley last year, and they chose not to do so, and instead Denver ends up with the guy, and they wind up losing 63-21 to the Raiders. Remember that day where in Golden Nugget and all those Raiders people were there?
Yeah, it's a lot. I see that too often out here. But I absolutely remember when Sean Payton was supposed to be, they were talking about he could come to the Chargers, and Chargers being the Chargers, they don't do it.
Unbelievable. I don't know who they'll get, but back to the point here. I think maybe plus 4.5 Denver's worth a look tomorrow. I am going to have a couple of plays, and bowl games are up and available now too. We'll get to that during promo, but that's the one that I look at. There's certain very fast here. Minnesota has changed quarterbacks. Josh Dobbs out. Nick Mullins, you'll remember him as a backup for San Francisco, in. Jake Browning in for Cincinnati. He's been lighting it up lately in place of Joe Burrow. Pittsburgh, Mitch Trubisky. I don't trust him as far as I could throw him. The other side is Gardner Minshew. Ski, these quarterbacks for these teams. Everybody's got a backup quarterback in these games. It's like handicapping preseason games. But they're all meaningful tomorrow. And I think just off the cuff here, I would lean toward Denver plus 4.5.
All right, good stuff there from Rob on the NFL. And I didn't finish my story time, but this is what I want. Hopefully you guys can read this. If you guys cannot, I'll just read it out loud for you. But I'm gonna put this up here. This is how you'll get the point. How I feel about the Chargers, and you should get it. Now y'all can't see that. I'll just read it to you. This is yesterday, 5:07 p.m. I know it's last minute. Want to go to the Raiders game? This is a lady asking me if I want to go too, by the way. Appreciate the invite, but I won't even watch my own team on TV. She says, you're saying no to free tickets? I said, that's how much I hate the Chargers right now. I get a text later on the night. Good thing we didn't go. That's how much I freaking hate the Chargers. So I'm happy to see change. And no NFL for me. That's all I'm giving for the NFL segment for the show. We can move over to best bets. And I will ask you, Rob, if there's anything you would like to promote and, maybe a play that you like a little bit more than the rest.
Yeah, let's get into it, Ski, because it's last minute here with the promo for Wagertalk and their bowl game extravaganza. College football, as I've said a couple of times here this week, been very, very good to me since the middle of September. It's a 12-week run where we picked up 58 units, been the number one profit maker at Wagertalk. Bowl games for tomorrow, already up and available. There are 6 games being played. I have 4 plays. It's likely to be 5. There's still one missing. So if you want to get involved, there's like 42 bowl games right through the national championship, just $99 for the entire package. You can visit wagertalk.com. If, in fact, you're not a member of Wagertalk as of yet, go ahead and drop your email address and you'll get free access to all the video and written analysis that we provide over there as a group of handicappers. You can get NBA plays and analysis. You can get NFL, NHL. It doesn't matter. I think that one of our colleagues, Andy Lang, covers, MMA, golf. I don't care what it is. You can get it over there, wagertalk.com. Let's go to the best bet, Ski. I'm going to say it again. I like the Phoenix Knicks game over. I think they tuned Thibodeau out. I don't think those guys care anymore. We don't want to hear any more. You're griping about defense. We're done with you. And they're going to play the way they like to play. And actually, I got to tell you the truth. It's probably what they're best at is scoring the basketball in multiple ways. And they're not a good defensive team, personnel wise, especially without Mitchell Robinson. As for the Suns, they're going to be a really good offensive team. I think we all know that. I'm not saying anything earth shattering by saying that, but as they come together, and the 112 they scored the other night could have been more. There were some things that were off. If those things come together even a little bit more tonight, they're going over the 120 mark. So I'm going to play this game up and over 232. I see 232s out there and multiple ones, so I won't even say 232 and a half. I think you guys can all get 232 at this point in time.
I like it. Good stuff on that. And you guys in the chat, you already know the deal by now. I didn't say it, but it's that time where you drop your best bet in the chat, and I will record as many as I can, and we'll come back and talk about them on Monday because there's no weekend shows. But I'll shout out some of them on the screen while we have a little bit of time. Justin likes Gonzaga +4. JT likes Sixers team total over. Bryce likes the Suns team total over. Jay Smith, FAMU money line. Adam Richmond, he had a winner yesterday. Hawks Raptors over 241.5. And the best bets keep coming in the chat. So for you guys watching on the replay, you can access the live chat. If you're on your phone, where it says the comments, you just swipe it over and it goes to the live chat. If you're on the computer, it should be in the top right corner. And you can see all of the good guys in the chat dropping their best bets for today. And my best bet for the show, I don't like to do this too often, but out of everything we talked about, it makes the most sense to me. I like it. Right with you, Rob. New York, Phoenix over 232.5. Just too many reasons for me to like it up and over. So no reason to try to force a different best bet. Let's just try to get a winner here to end the week. So double best bet from both of us. That's how you like to call it. And we'll see y'all at the window at the end of the night. So like I always say, appreciate you guys in the chat. We have a great time here, lots of laughs and a lot of great insight as well. Show is absolutely nothing without you guys. If you enjoyed the show, hit the like button as it does help us out. And best of luck if you tell. Good luck, everybody, on all of your action. And we will catch you guys again next week. Peace.